Hello everyone, welcome back again. My name is Jesse, and in this wonderful tutorial we'll be trying to continue from where we ended previously. So in the previous session we saw how to build and work with the layout. We saw how to work with the layout and we were able to understand the concept behind the layout, right? So now let's see how to use the layout to build this simple and wonderful app that we have already demoed. So to recap, this is what we're trying to build. We are using the layout to be able to build something like this, right? A simple directory app in which you can search a movie, then it's going to give you the title, the image reflecting the particular movie, right, loading from this particular URL, and then the type, right? So that's what we're trying to use the layout to be able to build. So let's see how to build it from scratch. So I'll just go back to the same place. So this is the old one that we saw the concept behind it. Then to recap, we are using the layout option, right? We learned that to create a layout, just go with st beta columns, and you specify the column, then it's going to generate two different columns for us. So in case you want 3, you specify the number, and in case you want different length, you also use this particular option. So let's see how to build it. So I'm just going to go back to the same thing, and then we start from scratch. So I'll just copy this one to save us time. Copy this, and then this is going to be for the old one, right? So what we're doing is we're just going to take everything out. I'm going to take off all of this out, be doing everything from scratch again, and then we will start from the beginning. Right, so this is something simple that we have been always doing, so this is not confusing. So let's bring it here so they can see it all, right? So that is something simple that we are using. So I just importing Streamlit as st, then you have our menu, our home, our search, and our about. Then using the sidebar to position it beside it, then you have 3 different sections. So one for the home, one for the search, and one for the about. So let's go with st.subheader. Apologies for the noise, right? Search by, right, something like that. Perfect. So let's see how to build this up. So what you are trying to build is using the columns, the same idea behind the columns, to be able to build this, right? You're trying to build this with one layout here, another layout here, then another layout here. But before we move on, let's explore this particular option. So this is what is called the beta expander, right? That allows us to be able to expand it and hide it. So it is simply like this. Just go back to the same place. Let's create a simple one. Then we can just go straight away with the option that you want to. This is also context manager. So with st.beta expander, right? And I'll pass in whatever I want to do. So let's say I want to get, let's say, title, right? Then I'll just go with st dot anything that you want to do. So let's say test area, type here, right, something like that. Then let's equate this one to a variable called my test. Then I'll bring it out. So this is just for the beta expander to help you get the point. st.write my test. If I save it and I come back to the sidebar here, let's check what you have done so far. So I'll close this one off, right, and then we will start seeing the other one. Then I'll just place it here, right? Very, very cool. So if I click on this plus, it brings it down here, right? Very, very nice, right? That is the basic understanding behind the beta expander. So all that we are doing is that we are just using this with context manager. So with st beta expander, then you specify the name, very, very important. Then you just place in your stuff here, right? Very nice. So I can even put more things there. So I can just come back and put, let's say, st dot an image or any other thing. So success, we like success, right? Everybody likes success. I don't know whether spelling is correct, right? Hello, right? So it's going to put it under it. If I click on this, the plus, it's going to unhide it. So we have our test and then our hello here. Very simple and very cool, right? That's a very nice job they have done. Now let's see how to build that up. So this is just the overview of it, right? So now we'll be using our MovieLens database, right, which is this particular one that we have. It's just 500 of them. So we'll be opening them, and then we start working on it. So if I go back here and I want to preview it, I can just go back with st dot. Let's use Pandas first of all to read it. So I'll just come back to the top of my file. I'm going to load my EDA package. It's going to be import Pandas as PD, right? That is all. Then we'll be loading our dataset, right? So I can just come back to the same place. Let's load it at the top of it. Go to my df. Can also create a function to help you do that, but let's make it simple for everybody. I'm passing my final. So I'm passing in this database or not database, but this dataset. Final MovieLens 500 db.csv, right? So that is it. So I'm loading that one there. Then from here I can just print it out. So I can just use the normal way to bring it out. So let's put it here. So let's take off, let's put it here, right? So st.dataframe, so you see the data set. So if I come back here, it's going to bring it here, right? Very nice. So this is the entire data set. Very cool. So what you are trying to do is that we are just picking two columns. We are picking the title, right, to get it, and then you are picking the year. So these are the two main ones. You are picking the title and then the year, right, to do whatever I want to do. So let's list all the titles together as one, because that's what it's search by, because that's what you want to search by, right? So I'll just come back here. So this is going to be my movies title list, right? Or the movies title. So df, I'm just going to pick the title column dot to list. This is using Pandas, right? Then I'm going to create a session to be able to select it. So let's call it as movie choice, which is going to be st.select box. Now passing movie title, right? And I'm passing my movie list. So that is all. If I save it and I come back here, now you're going to see it here below, right? Very nice. So everything is there. So let's hide this one. Let's hide the data frame for now. If I run it, you see now we have the list of the entire stuff here, right? Very cool, right? So all the movies is there. All of them have been listed there. So that's what we're trying to search by. So in case you want to search by it, we are using the normal Pandas stuff to help us search for it. So in that case, I can just call it as this. So instead of re-hiding this one, or commenting this one out, you can actually hide it, right? So I can use this beta to help us hide it or put it somewhere else, right? So I can come back to the same thing. So with st.beta expander. So in the future, hopefully it's going to be st expander, right? That's so cool. So this is going to be movies data frame, right? Then I'm just going to print the entire stuff. So data frame df. So if I save it now and I come back here, you can see that now it's going to be positioned under that select option, right? So now it is here. So if I click on it, the entire stuff comes, right? So let's just pick the first 100, or let's just take 10 of them, right, to make our app look beautiful, right? So if I click on this, now it's just there. I can hide it or hide it. Very, very cool, right? So this name is the name here that you put here inside this particular bracket is what is being shown here. Then you can click it here, right? So in case you also want to leave it expanded, you can also specify that option, right? So by default it just closes it, but in case I want to open it, when I see it's going to be expanded, it's go to true, right here. So if I go expanded, it's go to true. Let's save it. Now by default it's automatically going to be open, right? So in case if I open the app from scratch from the beginning, it's already open, right? And I click on it to collapse it. But in case you don't want it this way, so if I run it again, so you said now it's going to come back already opened, right, for us. So it's loading everything. So now it's already open, right? So in case I want to hide it from start, I'll just set that one to false. So by default it is set as false, right? By default it is set as false. It's going to hide it for us, right? So apologies for the noise behind. So by default it is set as false, right? So if I take it off, it's still going to work, right? So you have seen how to build something very simple. Let's see what you have built. So we have the two features, right? So very nice. Now let's see how to attach our title to our data frame and then to bring out our result. So I'll just open it here, right? I can just come back to the same place. Then let's create a different option, right? So let's add a layout there. So first of all, let's go with our layout, right? And then before our layout, you can also specify the main filter, right? Our filter for the search. So in that case, we can just do something like this. So I can just get my image link in case I want to get only the image, my data frame, right? Then I want the title column. Then for the title, I want to get that movie choice. That is all that I need, right? So very simple. So this is going to give us that. Then I'll just pick the image link. So if I go back to my data set, apologies for this being a little bit some way. If I go back here, you can see that we have our movie title, right? So this is what I'm selecting for. Then I'm looking through this movie title option to pick that particular one. And we also have our description link. We have the image link. So I'm picking only this image link column, right? Very nice, to be able to use it for our image link. That is the basic understanding, right, behind it. Now this is returning a format of a list, so I just go with values. Then I can just pick out it, convert it to a string, right? So this is a simple way. Then let's do the same thing for the title. So title link, then df, same thing, df bracket title. You're just picking the title that the person give per our data set. So movie choice. Then I'll pick the title, right, column. Perfect. Then I can also convert it. This is another way we can also do that. String to lower, or but let's make it like values. Something very simple, right? Right. Perfect. So that is all. So we have gotten our image, our title, right? So let's save it and see what you have done so far. So it's not showing here. So in case I want to show it, I can come back here before our layout. This without the normal grid. st.right, my image, then the link, right? So let's position it here, right? So if I save it like this, and let's check it out. So it's giving us an indentation error, so that means that you have to position it well, right? So I can just come back to the same place and then position it well in the right location. Voila, now it's working. So that's one thing about the context manager. It makes our work easier, and you have to just make sure that you are positioning your stuff well. So let's check it out. So if I come back here, see that now we have our image here, right? Very nice. In case I want to preview this image, I can just use the st.image option to help us, right? Streamlit make it very easy. You can just go with st.image. Now passing my URL, right? If I go with this, it's going to go back to that website and then fetch it for us. Wow. This simple code, right? Very cool. So we have been able to get our image for that particular movie. So let's change it to a different movie. So let's pick one out. So let's pick forums. So I'm going to change it here. Forums, so now it has changed the image, right? Perfect, right? So now we are going to, the next thing we're going to do is that we're trying to apportion it to the right place, to the right layout. And remember that to set out our layout, as we learned earlier on, this is how it is. Let's use this picture to make it easier. To set out our layout, this is how it is, right? So I want 2 columns, so st beta columns 2. Perfect. So let's try that one out. So I'll just come back to my app. Let's position it by it. Perfect. So everything is working as expected. So to work on the layout, let's see. So I'm just going to hide this one, and let's specify the layout. So I'm going to specify the layout. So layout can even be outside the entire stuff, right? It's still going to work anyway if I put the layout out. So I can just come back here. So let's say C1, C2, right? For column 1, column 2, and then column 3, right? Then I'm going to go with st.beta columns. I want 3, so 3. Perfect. So that is all. So let's use the with context. So with the context manager. So C1 with column 1, I want you to bring out my stuff, right? So I want to show the title. So st. Let's go with another one as with st beta expander, and then I'll just go with my title of the movie, right? Then I'll just print out the title. So let's go to success, then the title from the title link option. So let's save it and see what you have done so far. Now if I come back here, you can see that now our app is working, right? So our title layout is there, right? Perfect. And you can see that this is in the format of a list, which is not nice, so we just unpack it out. You can just bring it out. But so let's move on to the next one. So I can repeat the same thing for the next one. So let's repeat it for the second one, for the second column, right? I'll copy this one, and you see how I'm laying it out, you should make sure that you don't put a column within a column. It is not supported yet, right? But you can put a beta expander within a column, right? But not a column within a column. That is going to be a lot of complication. Okay, so now this is going to be for column 2, right? And then this is going to be for column 3, which we have already unpacked here, right? Perfect. So this was for the title. Now this one is going to be for the image itself, which you are getting from this particular image link here, right? So this image link is what we are putting here. Then the same thing for the title. For the type of movie, I don't know how to pronounce it. Genre. I don't know how to pronounce it. So let's do the same thing here. So I'll just copy this one because it's going to be the same code. This is going to be our filter, our query. So let's call this one as my gen, right? I don't know how to pronounce it anyway. Genre. And I'm going to pick that particular one out. See the mistake I made? So this is supposed to be the title because that's what you're searching by. So hopefully it is general. So if I go back and I check, it's giving us a key error because the title is, the name of it is not generals, plural. So now let's check it out. Perfect, our app is working. You can see that it's very, very responsive. So we have for the title, see that title is there. We have for the image is being loaded, and then our general is there, right? So we have to make sure that we are getting the actual generals, not the title. So I'll just come back and change this one because I think that's where we are making a mistake. So we are searching for the movie, then we are changing it here. This is not a link, right? This is just the general. So let's make it like this. And let's make this one as title. Only the image is a link. So I'm just reshaping it to make it better. Perfect. Now we have gotten it here. So let's do image for the image. It's the image. That is all, right? Image link. Let's take out this. So we don't need the success again. It's working. Very nice. So let's check our app now. Very simple stuff that I have done. If I go back and I check it, so you see that we have our title. The title is there. We have our image. The image is being loaded, right? And then we also have the general. It's also being loaded. But you can notice something, that the image is not really in the right way, right? It's not in the right nice format. So we can make it better by specifying the width, right, for this particular image. So Streamlit has got you covered. So we have the use column width. You set it to true. If I set that one to true, and let's change this one to right, so that it looks nice. I come back here. Perfect. See that now it is very, very responsive. So the title is there. Perfect. The image is also there. Full image. So if I go back and I check it out, see that now if I check it out, it's better, right? But you work on it. Very, very nice. Right, so it's working. But you notice that it is using a full image width, right? But it's not clear. So that is where we can use the other option that we had, which was this option. Right, you can specify the particular column line using this particular one. So in case I want different width, because the image is mostly bigger than the text, right? So in case I want to change this particular one to be something like this, right, one bigger than the other, then I'll go with this option. So I'll just come back to this same thing that we did. I'm going to change it, right? So this is something very simple. So instead of making it 3, right, I'm going to change it from this. I'm going to specify that I want the first column to be 1, right? The second column to be 2 times bigger than the first one, and the last column to be 1, right? So the first column is 1, the second column twice that of the first one, then the remaining one is half or 1 of the first or the second one. And remember that this is 3, 1, 2, 3, so this should be unpacked into 3. So if I go back and I check it again, so let's check our app. Okay, there, Chrome. Okay, so if I check it here, now see that now this is bigger than this one, but it's 1, perfect, general, perfect, and then this is in a format which is quite better, right? At least this is bigger than the previous one. So let's use a different movie. So I'm just going to go to the top of my movie session. Let's choose, let's say, GoldenEye. If I choose GoldenEye, now if I come back here and I check it out, and now the GoldenEye is in a beta format, right? Very cool, right? Very nice. We are done with one of the apps, one section of the app. Now let's move on to the other section. So I think it's better we hide this one by default, right? So that it becomes simple like this. So I'll just come back here and then change this one to the default one, which is already the default, right? Very nice. Now let's move on to the search option, right? We are done with our app. We are done. So the only thing for the search option is that instead of using the title, we're using the year to help us with that. So I'll just come back to the same place, right? And I'll just go with this option. So we'll use the with st.beta expander. Now specify like search by year, right? So I can just change this one, search. Let's take off this because let's go with search movie, right? And this is going to be search by year. Perfect. This context manager, and I'm going to put in this particular location, I'll be putting in my search bar, right? So you can also put the search bar under. So let's go to as movie year, which is going to be st.number. You can use date input, but let's use number input. I'm going to pass in enter year, so year, simple. Then I'll specify the upper limit 1995, lower limit 2020, right? We don't want any old movies. So if I save it here, let's check it out. So this is for the old session. If I go back to the search session, which is going to be this particular place, and now we have it here, right? So we're just using the beta expander. Very, very cool, making our work more cleaner. So we see that I have our search here, and we can just go to 1999. Perfect. So let's use Pandas to read our date and then fetch by the year. So I'll just do the same thing that we did above. So let's call this option. So in order for us not to be reading the data set over and over again, right? So I'm going to push, I've already pushed it at the top. So this is before the app itself, right? This is before the app itself. Perfect. And I can even change the time. So this will change the year column to daytime. So I can just go with my year column, right? I think there's a year column like that. Then I'll just go with my pd.to daytime, and I'll pass in my year column, df year column, right? Perfect. So I'm going to change it to year column, and now I can come back down to this place and then search by that one option. So I'll just come back and let's go to my df for year, right? The df for year, then data frame. So what you're searching is I'm searching for the year column, right? But I'm converting that year column to daytime, and I want to pick only the year, right? So I'm searching by the year only, right? This is inbuilt. Then I'm going to equate this one to the movie year that the person supplies. Perfect, right? So let's put this one into a data frame and store the entire stuff into a data frame again. Perfect. So now let's preview it first before we move on. So st.data frame. I'll pass in my df for the year, right, which is the new one. If I save it and then let's check it out. So you come back here, you can see that now we have it here, right? If I go search by year, this is there, and you can see that the year is there, right? So let's pick a year. 1999, there's nothing there. Let's go with 1995. Then it's going to go through it. It said that's listed only 1995 movies, right? So you can see that this is only 1995. So one of our app is done, right? So you have been able to see how to get only the year. Now we want to be able to bring all of these things out, right, in the format of a list. So we'll be using a simple list to help us with that. So using to list to help us do that. So let's create our columns for our column layout. So just come back down here. So I'll come outside of the expander, right, because we want it to be down. Then I'm going to call it as M1 form. We can give it as any name, so M1, or we can call it as column 1, then column 2, then column 3, right? I'm giving it a totally different name so that you know that this is totally different. Then I'm going to unpack it, right? So as we did st.beta columns, this I'm giving it as 3. If I go with 3, it's going to bring 3 there, but we can actually give our layout of 1, 2, and then 1, right? So the first column is 1, the second column is twice out of the first column, then the third column is half of the second column, right? 1. Perfect. So I'll just do the same thing. So with column 1, I want you to do the same thing. So I'm going to go with my, let's bring it down here with st beta column. Now passing title. So st dot right. So this called as title. Right? Just so that you see what we have done so far. So if I come back here and I check it out, it's running perfectly well. So we have our title column there. So now it is there, right? Perfect, right? So our app is working. So we want to loop through it or iterate through it and bring them out. So we did a simple list comprehension to help us with that. Why am I saying list comprehension? So how do we do that? So we can just come back here. Let's go for my title in. We want to get only the title column, right? So we can also use the same thing to get only the title column. So I can just come back to the new one for the year, right? The data frame for the year. Then I'll pick the title, right? Then to list. That is all, right? Then since this is a list, I can just go with st.success, and I'll go with my t, right? So if I save it and I come back to what you have done, consider now this. If I click on it, this it was able to list all the 1995 movies for us, right? Very cool and very nice. So let's go back to, let's push it this side way. So all the movies for 1995 is there. Per the year that you have selected, right? Is there. So let's check it again. So this is 1995, let's see 1996. Going to list them here. These are all the movies in 1996. Then if I go back down, I can hide this one because I don't need the search again. Click on this. So these are all the movies for 1996, right? It's supposed to come. Yeah, perfect. They are all there, right? Now let's move on to the next option, which is adding the image and then the title, right? So I'll just come back here. So it's going to be the same thing. So I can just duplicate this one, copy this, and duplicate it. This for column 2. This for column 3. So this is column 2, the image. This is going to be for image. And I'll change this one to the image link. So image link. Then I'll use the power of Streamlit image to help us with that. T, right? So let's call this one as images I. Then I can just specify that the use column width as true, in case you want. Perfect. So that is going to be for the image option. Then we also need to work on the third one, which is going to be for the type of movie, the tag or the genre. As I said, I can't pronounce that word. I don't know whether the audio is low. Apologies for that. Okay, so this is going to be the genres. It's plural to list. Then let's call this one as G. So it matches well with what you're searching for. If I save it, let's use right instead of success. You can use test if you want. So let's go back and see what you have done so far. So we see that we have our title there, we have our images there, we have our genres there, right? All of them are working there perfectly for us. So if I come back here, let's expand it, and then let's see what you have done so far. So that is all the basic understanding behind it, right? So it's going to list all the movies there. This is per that particular stuff here, per that particular year that you have selected. So in case I want 1999, hopefully there is a movie in 1999. If there's no movie, it's going to return empty, right? There's no movie, so we can't even see anything. But if I go back to 1998, then you see that this is the data frame. And if I go down, you can see that we can get all the movies that are 1998. These are all of them. These are all the images, right? Very, very cool. And only just one image is going to bring out all the images. So for that particular one, so we see that the image is there, the next image is there, and then the rest, right? Very cool. Some of them are bigger than the rest, but there's another thing for another time. That's the basic understanding behind building this simple app using Streamlit. So the basic understanding behind all that we built is that we are using the ST beta columns and then the ST beta expander. So what we did is that we just imported Streamlit and then Pandas. We just imported Streamlit and Pandas. Then we loaded our dataset. Then we just converted it to datetime. Then did the rest. Then we just created a select option to select it, right? As you can see from here. Then we just use a normal filter to filter them out as we want. Then we created the columns, right? So using 1:2:1, as we learned earlier on. Then we unpack them. We unpack them to this particular variable. We're using the context manager. We are grouping everything under the beta column for that particular title, for the image, right? And then for the generals. That's the same thing we did for the next one. So thank you for watching this. That's a basic understanding. So thank you for watching this tutorial. In case you have any question or contribution, you can just put inside the comment section below, and please don't forget to subscribe. Check the links below for some interesting materials to help you master machine learning and then Python, and check the Streamlit blog for more. Thank you. See you another time. Stay blessed.